Well, I hope with all those superpowers, they at least have the ability to breathe in small spaces. Here's your look at the brand new Kinder Surprise Playmobil Superheroes. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't think I'd have any chance at all to find these in the wild. Yet I went to my local Walmart one day, and obviously going through the checkout line, like everything else, there's the impulse items. These would be the impulse items, of course, that kids would then look to their parents and say, "Mom, while we're here, can we get some gum?" And you're like, "Oh, we don't really need to get gum. You already have gum at home." "But I don't have this gum." So, of course, sure enough, as I looked over to grab some gum, funny enough for my daughter, I looked over and happened to have come across the new Kinder Surprise Playmobil Superheroes. Now, I know it's been a while. Certainly, we've looked at Kinder Surprise here on this channel. I mean, I think the last time, in fact, we looked at anything Kinder Surprise related was possibly around the Simpsons days. Sure enough, though, I wanted to, of course, have a look at these because the fact that we get ourselves Kinder Surprise figurines inside and that they're superheroes, how could I miss my chance to grab these? Not only did I not miss my chance to grab one, I not missed my chance to grab two, but in fact, I got 3 of these. And I hope that with 3 of these, I get myself at least 3 different characters from one another. It would suck royally if I end up getting myself 3 Wonder Woman. Not that I don't have a thing against Wonder Woman, but just the fact that you don't want to get 3 of the exact same figure. Now that I, of course, have jinxed myself. It's a milk chocolate with, I think it's milky lining. That's sort of like the stomach lining. That kind of keeps everything from burning through your stomach. Sort of prevents then the superhero from being able to break out of his chocolate prison. Of course, this is a 2-half system, so essentially the front half is a chocolate, the back half is a chocolate. And when you open that up, normally you'd find yourself like a little capsule. I don't know, though, how a Playmobil figure is going to be able to sit inside of a capsule that small. I know assembly generally is required. That's, to go in and buy a Kinder, expectation should be there that you're going to have to put together anything that you end up opening inside. Hopefully, a lot of times you get yourself an instruction manual. I know, I'm talking way too much. On the back, though, warning, toy not suitable for children under, 7 years? Uh-oh, I've given Kinder Surprise to my daughter when she was a lot younger than 7 years. In fact, that actually does say not for 0 to 3 years. So we sort of have somewhat conflicting instructions. One is telling us not to be giving to, maybe that is 3. Let me just look at that again. Oh, wouldn't you know it, it is 3. I think it's coming time to the point where this guy's going to have to look into investing in some glasses. But I don't think I need myself any glasses to open up the foil on the outside here, of course. Now, I'm not going to go sitting here eating all 3 eggs of chocolate. I'll give the chocolate a try, even though I already know what Kinder tastes like. And of course, if you aren't familiar with Kinder, because I know there are some places that don't really sell in stores surprise eggs, just because there was some notion that kids would be swallowing these things whole without realizing there was chocolate, and then there would be a toy sitting inside of that. But the idea, though, with a Kinder is that if you open it up, there's a capsule inside. Now, we're going to put the capsule right over here for right now. And just in case, if anybody was really curious what a Kinder Surprise looks like, it's essentially, though, a chocolate layer on the outside, the milky stomach lining interior, just to kind of keep everything contained. It gives an extra little bit of oomph to the taste of the egg as well. Let's just break off, though, a piece. A small piece. We want to be subtle here. We don't need to be downing down an entire egg. It's chocolatey. It doesn't have really the highest quality of chocolate. If you ever get like cheap chocolate, I don't want to really say that Kinder is cheap chocolate, but it doesn't certainly have a premium like a Hershey's chocolate. Of course, the milk interior does give a little bit of added sweetness to that as well. I'm going to just put the eggs to the side. I don't think it's likely that I'm going to be eating any more of these, because the main reason why I really actually got these was to see what figures I was going to get. And again, like these being Playmobil, it's kind of cool. How often would you, like Lego, I think Lego would be fun to have Lego minifigures sitting inside these little canisters here. So the first one that we have, fittingly though enough, we have Superman. Superman. Now before we, of course, assemble the Man of Steel, a couple of things we want to go through first is there's the warnings in different languages. Some of the language you may be able to read, some other languages you may not be able to read. We'll put those off to the side. Usually then you get yourself the instruction booklet on one side, or the instruction sheet on one side. And then on the other, it tells us all the characters that you can get. So we have Cyborg, Mira, Aquaman. Kind of weird that we got Mira in there. Wonder Woman, Superman, Supergirl, Flash, and Green Lantern. Now, the reason why I sort of hesitate saying all that, advertised on the front of the package or the foil, you can clearly see there's the Caped Crusader. So I'm not sure why, of all this, Batman is usually never left out of the mix. And yet, funny though enough, they pair, sure enough, the male and female equivalent of each other. Of course, meaning that you got Superman and Supergirl, you got Mira and Aquaman. Nowhere, though, to be found is the Caped Crusader Batman. It's kind of really weird. What's also kind of interesting, too, I was wondering these, and I think I probably have answered my own question. The first thought I had when I heard that Playmobil was going to be put inside of Kinder Eggs, the first thought I had was, I don't think a Kinder could really actually fit inside of a Kinder Egg. So will it be an actual sized Kinder or an actual sized Playmobil? And I think I've now just answered that question. I'm looking at the size of Superman here. Granted, though, to be fair, he still has to have his cape put on the back of him. And I'm going to, when I eventually build all these figures, I know I have a couple of Playmobils set aside. I'm just going to test this theory of mine. I don't think these are regular sized Playmobil. Not at all. I mean, if you're looking at this Superman, that Superman's pretty tiny. I just looked behind me to see if I could actually... No, I can't reach it from here. I'll have to come back to that in a second. So from the assembly standpoint, there's not really much that's involved. Does it have like the bend that Playmobil has as well? No, it doesn't have that either. You can't bend the legs. So they're only legs by name only. I mean, they're obviously... They deliver exactly what legs need to deliver. I mean, they're allowing the figure to stand upright. There is some arm posability. You can... No, you can't move... Oh, yeah, you can move the hands. You can move as well the head. The wig or the hairpiece does not look like it's removable. The Superman emblem there on the front. Superman, I guess, is more in his new 52 outfit, as he's clearly not sporting a pair of super trunks. They do seem small, though. They do not seem the size of a regular Playmobil. Let's just put Superman down here for a second. We're going to open up the next egg and see, hopefully, that we get a different one inside. Still kind of misleading, I gotta say, Kinder, the fact that you put Batman on the front of it, and Batman's nowhere to be found inside. I mean, it's not, though, to say that Batman may not appear in a Series 2 of these, but I kind of feel like if you're going to put him on the front like that, he has to kind of be on the inside there, too. So, let's see what we got here. Anybody in here? Hello? Hello? Let's open up the egg and see exactly the canister and see who we have inside. And it looks like we've got ourselves, yeah, Cyborg. I don't want to say that like that's a bad thing. Cyborg's pretty cool. But I got to say, like, my interest in this has depleted. It's depleted just a bit by knowing that these aren't really the size of Playmobil figures. And actually, by the way, I want to also show you, when you are putting the legs in, you don't snap them in place. You kind of have to put them from the front and wedge them to the back. So you get something that looks like that. I mean, for what it is, it's not a bad looking... It certainly is one of the better looking toys that we've gotten in Kinders, because Kinders tend to be tiny little things that do stuff. I mean, that's fun. And rolling wheels, or they like roll up things, or there's like a butterfly that flaps its wings. So if you want a full-size figure, I mean, it's a little bit bigger than obviously like a Lego minifigure, but I don't think it's the size. No, it's not. Like, Playmobils tend to be about this size. These are kind of mini Playmobils. Anyways, let's see what we got for the final egg here. Somebody right now is asking me in the background, hey, buddy, do you have plans to go back and pick up any more of these? Likely no. Likely no, just because, again, like, my hopes were going in pretty high. But again, like, to look at the size of the egg, looking at the size of the canister, I said, there's no way at all a Playmobil figure is going to fit inside any of these. And sure enough, I was right. The final figure that we have inside is what? Hold on a second. We've got Catwoman. What just happened now that we've introduced brand new characters? Let's open up the pamphlet and see if anything has changed. Oh, okay, so apparently it has changed. Okay, now I'm totally confused. Let me just look at the foil here. The foil, from what I looked at, I think the foil is exactly the same. So for one reason or another, now all of a sudden we've got ourselves an entire Bat family. And for no other reason, Black Adam's there as well. So we've got Harley Quinn, we've got the Riddler, we've got Joker, we've got Robin, Batman. Batman looks kind of a little weird there. A Batgirl, a Catwoman, And again, Black Adam. Why is Black Adam just hanging around with the Bat family? And sure enough, though, as again, like, I went in being now surprised. I'm surprised even more the fact that I was getting a character that I had no idea that I was going to be getting at all. Of course, the assembly, again, is nothing really new. So what we're only just going to really do is take the legs, snap them in place like that. I mean, at least for Catwoman, one thing could be said. They spent the budget to at least give her goggles. I mean, it's not just that they gave her the frames. There's actually lenses on those goggles. It's funny, though, that we're talking about her being Catwoman, and yet there's no tail on the back of her body. What's actually kind of also interesting, too, is if you look at the back of both Cyborg and Catwoman, they've got these kind of canals, like they're leading water away from a village. It's got Playmobil printed on the back. I know Playmobil has to brand themselves somewhere. I don't know, though, if I would have branded it in like a ravine on the back of the figure's body. Again, like the articulation is pretty limited on these. The cowl does not even come off on Catwoman. The head does rotate, barely though. I almost even feel like as I'm turning the head, like I'm stripping almost the plastic away where the head's going to break off. The arms rotate all the way around. There's hand articulation. Nothing in the waist, nothing in the legs. So, you know what? I'm just going to put these down here for a second. Let's see if I can find myself a Playmobil and we'll compare the sizes between the two. And I'm sure by no surprise, as I grab myself a regular sized Playmobil, you can clearly see that there's a big size difference between the two. I mean, it wasn't that hard to look at a capsule, for example. Let's just bring back in one of these capsules. Look at the capsule and then look at a Playmobil. Even if, well, these are impossible to disassemble, but let's say logically they had found a way to disassemble the figure, you'd, if anything, be able to probably fit the torso and maybe the head. The arms and the legs would have been next to impossible. Plus, too, like, these guys do have a lot more posability. This just happens to be a Ghostbuster I pulled from my Ecto 1. There's more head articulation. I think also these wigs, they come off. I feel like they do. Arm articulation, the hands. Nothing in the waist, but at least like the legs can flip up. So, you know, again, like it's suggested by the design, I suppose, alone, Playmobil was represented in a Kinder. It just wasn't represented in the size that you'd expect. Which again, I guess one thing that really Kinder could have done is they would have just released Kinder-sized Playmobil figures in a larger sized egg. Yes, though, it would have cost more money for any collector out there to source them out. But I think any collector that really is wanting to collect Playmobil would probably want still to get their figures the size that normal Playmobil figures would be, not these miniaturized versions. Let me know down below in the comments section if you guys have had the chance to pick up any of these. Again, what a weird surprise. I grabbed 3 of these of the Kinder Surprise, thinking again that I was only going to be getting like the super folks here. I ended up getting 2 of them from this line, and I got 1 of them from this line. And then Black Adam, again, is just randomly there. But let me know if you guys have had the chance to pick up any new Playmobil Kinder Surprise characters. Are you also a little bit miffed the fact that they're clearly not the size that a Playmobil figure really should be? Or if you don't mind at all that they're a little bit smaller. If you guys did also enjoy this video, do it a solid and throw it a like. Whoosh. If you guys want to stick around for more so, and I certainly hope so, there's certainly going to be more videos coming your way. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.